What's up, it's TechRonin. Every PC gamer is looking to get an edge on the competition. There's loads of tech out there that offer additional buttons, enhanced audio, and UI customization to do just that. But what if I told you there's one simple thing pros utilize that a lot of people overlook before diving into flashy hardware? Today, I'm giving you a rundown on the not-so-secret to celerity in PC gaming DPI settings. Coming right up. So what exactly is DPI? DPI, or dots per inch, is the setting that processes the distance your mouse moves per inch and translates it into how far the cursor moves per pixel. High DPI settings makes the cursor move faster. This is important when it comes to gaming. Precision is everything. You ever play an FPS with someone who seems impossibly accurate with their shots? Well, one, that guy's probably really good, and two, he's more than likely taken the time to properly calibrate his DPI to give him the precision and flexibility he needs to master any first-person shooter. So how do you do that? Well, first I'll tell you this, no matter where you look on the internet or elsewhere, there is no perfect list of settings that will 100% enhance your game. Instead, you need to understand how certain settings work and become conscious about what settings work best for you. In light of that, we need to talk about a few things: mouse acceleration, polling rates, how screen resolution affects DPI settings, what in-game settings you need to pay attention to, and a few different tools or variables that can help. So first off, mouse acceleration is a setting that simulates additional movement to your cursor based on how quickly you move your mouse. With this setting on, moving your mouse 1 inch slowly may translate to 1/4 of an inch on screen, while moving it quickly 1 inch may translate into 10 or 15. For obvious reasons, you should make sure this setting is off. Secondly, polling rates are a bit less complex, and most of you will already have this right. However, polling rates are simply just the rate at which your mouse's sensor is communicating with your computer. Non-gaming mice will generally be polling at 125 Hz, whereas gaming mice usually sit around 1000 Hz. The best option would be to use as high a polling rate as you can, but keep in mind over 1000 Hz is a little unnecessary. Most modern computers are more than capable of handling 1000 Hz, though if you're on an older rig, having the polling rates too high may cause inconsistency. Third, the resolution of the screen in which you are doing your gaming largely influences the settings of your DPI, because the amount of pixels on the board can vary. A higher resolution screen has more pixels, thus will require a higher DPI to compensate. This is where you'll need to play around and see what works best with you. However, a good gauge to start at is being able to move your mouse 1 inch to get your cursor from the bottom of the screen to the top. On a 1080p or HD monitor, this is roughly around 1250 DPI. The fourth and probably most important thing is to make sure you check your in-game settings for raw mouse input, acceleration, and in-game sensitivity. Raw mouse input is a setting you absolutely want on if it's available, because typically this will enable your movements to be read by your computer settings instead of the game's translation of your mouse's movements. Acceleration, we already talked about what this is, but some games have this setting within them, so naturally turning it off will make you more precise. With sensitivity, you'll want to use the lowest settings possible, which is usually 1, and increase your DPI until you find your personal threshold for speed. The final thing I want to talk about are a few simple tools you may have available that can help. Using a mousepad makes a huge difference when it comes to accurately reading your mouse's movements. Size of your mousepad is something to consider as well. If your mousepad is too small and you're constantly going off of it, either increase your DPI to compensate or get a bigger mousepad. Another great thing is setting up stages within your gaming mouse software. Most gaming mice have software with settings in which you can actively adjust your DPI in stages. Razer Synapse, for example, allows 5 stages of DPI, which you can hotkey to flip through on command. Pick up a gnarly sniper rifle but feel like your sensitivity is too high to be accurate? Use these settings to drop your DPI in-game and get that slower threshold you need to land shots. And the last thing is to calibrate every game to feel the same. Consistency obviously builds skill. Mousesensitivity.com is a website that can take the settings you have for one game that you maybe have honed in to be perfect for you and translate them into settings for a different game. A very useful tool to know about indeed. Well guys, that's my 2 cents on the most powerful setting to up your game. If you liked what you saw or thought this information was helpful, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for future content. Do you have any tricks that have helped you up your game? Make sure you share your tips in the comments. We'll see you next time.